So we're talking to Brendan Sargent, who is going to be a contestant on Jeopardy tonight, which is very exciting. Brendan, thank you very much for taking the time to talk today.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Mike. I've been listening to the Pike since I remember when it became a radio station. I think I was a lot younger than I am now. Put it that way.
Well, this is why I want to talk to Brendan today, because Brendan is a Worcesterite. He is from Worcester. We were just talking about the fact that you found that you were the 8th person from Worcester to be represented or to appear on Jeopardy. Is that correct?
Yeah, so there's the website where I did all my studying. It's called J-Archive. It's this very cool fan-run website, and you can search by terms. And so I naturally, being the egomaniac that I am, I searched Worcester and saw a couple clues over the years that involved Worcester. But then everybody who said they were from Worcester, a couple people it says from Worcester, a couple people, like for me, it'll say originally from Worcester. I don't know why they make that distinction, but yeah, only I'll be the 8th in the history of our great city.
So you're actually from Worcester, right? You were born and raised in Worcester?
Yeah, born and raised in Worcester proper.
What part of Worcester?
Just near the Holden line up by the water tower up near like St. Peter Marion. I grew up on that street.
Oh, okay. All right. And then, but you went to St. John's in Shrewsbury, right?
That's correct. Yeah. My dad went there, and that was where I was going to high school my whole life. 2
questions about that. One, were you voted most likely to appear on Jeopardy?
That's a good question. I don't think we did superlatives, actually, now that you asked that. I don't think we did that, but I don't think I would have gotten that nod. I went to high school with some pretty bright kids. I don't know that they would have pegged me as the one that ended up on the show, if I'm being honest.
And then, while you have the opportunity, because I'm sure they can hear us in Shrewsbury, is there a teacher over there that you had that you just want to rub it in their face and say, hey, look at me now, huh? How you like me now?
Wow, I thought you were going to go a different way with that. I would love to take this opportunity to be petty, but when I think about my St. John's experience, I think about all the teachers who I would have to thank, and the list would be too long, but Chuck Abdullah comes to mind as a guy who he it's so weird to call him Chuck, but he insists. He's the guy who made learning very cool and very fun, and I already reached out to him actually on Facebook when I posted the news, because he's a guy when I think about why I was so obsessed with trivia and knowledge, he comes to mind. So nobody I want to rub it in their face. But definitely a long list of teachers to thank.
Well, that's awesome. It's nice that you take the high road. You're representing Worcester very well. So you're in LA right now. You moved out to LA. What brought you out there?
Yeah, I was teaching. When I graduated from college, I taught high school English in Chelsea for 5 years, and then my now wife, my girlfriend at the time, and I we got a little bit tired of the weather. That was kind of the first impetus was that winter of 2014 was just driving us crazy. And so yeah. I'd always wanted to. I acted in high school and college, and did some comedy in college and high school too. So I just kind of wanted to give it a shot and come out here and do some comedy and do some acting. And I've gotten to do a little bit of it, some stand up and some improv and stuff, and made a couple short films, and I just love it. I love it out here. I miss Worcester. I miss my family, but it's hard to argue with 70-degree days in the middle of January and everything like that. So
yeah, I'm sure you don't own a shovel, right?
No, I do not own a shovel. I've never had to scrape my windshield since I've lived out here, and those are the things that I'm the most thankful for.
And now you're going to be on Jeopardy tonight. Yeah, I got to ask you how Katie Couric was as a host. I'm assuming, because you said this was like a dream of yours to be on Jeopardy, so you were a big fan. Obviously, the passing of Alex Trebek was, that was a big blow to the show. How did Katie Couric do as a host?
She was incredible. I actually got to see Ken Jennings host too, because I was called in. They sometimes bring in the local folks as alternates in case somebody gets sick, or especially with COVID, if somebody tests positive, they need to replace them at the last minute. So I was there in December, and I got to watch a week's worth of episodes get taped when Ken was hosting, and I thought he did a great job. And then I got to see Katie up close and actually play. And Alex made it look so easy. And that's what everybody on set said too, that, you know, he could shoot. It's hard to kind of put into perspective, but he could shoot like 3 or 4 episodes before lunch. Whereas, you know, with Ken and Katie, it was, you know, just a little bit, they were growing pains.
Yeah. Of course.
I thought she did an amazing job. It looks like so much work and so much to juggle, and like between having to be on TV and kind of like being gregarious and kind of energetic, but also like this is a kind of a serious game show, and like you can't really flub up the questions because that kind of affects the show, and then they have to stop and replace the questions. So I was really impressed. And then on top of that, she was so nice and like would spend the commercial breaks or any like downtime on the set with the contestants, and she was every bit as like wonderful and charming as she comes across on TV, which you always hope for when you meet a celebrity, and it was absolutely the case with her. So it was honestly, it was sort of surreal to get to be on the stage with her.
And the pressure for you, I mean, as a contestant, I can't even imagine. It looks easy when you're on TV. Like, you know, like I always sit on the couch, I watch Jeopardy, I get the questions right. I'm like, I made 26 grand tonight. That was nothing, you know, but to be like under the lights in front of cameras, I don't know if you guys have an audience in there. I mean, everyone's looking, you know, there's like billions of people watching the show because it's such a huge show. So the pressure must have been pretty amazing.
The pressure is something else. You know, they do a really good job of calming people down. I think like having a little bit of experience acting and performing, I think helped a little bit, just because I'm like somewhat comfortable being in front of people and doing things. But the staff there and the crew do an amazing job of like just kind of like being there for you. Like they check in with you at the commercial breaks. They come and, you know, you test your buzzer and make sure everything's working. So yeah, the pressure is pretty high, but I think the crew there combined with, you know, I recently started therapy. I think that helped a lot because I could like get out of my own head a little bit, and I like had some tools to kind of like talk myself down.
Wow.
But then once the game starts, there's really no time. I mean, I think the thing that shocked me the most was the time is almost identical to what you see on TV. I kind of expected it to be a little more stop and start, but you just kind of go. And so you don't really have time to panic per se. Although we'll see if that's the case tonight. Maybe I don't remember it correctly. Maybe I was panicking the whole time, but yeah, you just kind of, you know, it's kind of sink or swim. So definitely nerve wracking, but I would do it again in a heartbeat. It was so much fun.
So I mean, if you can't tell me, I understand, but what's the key to the buzzer? Sometimes I see people just constantly pressing it. And sometimes I just see people hitting it once. What was your strategy on the buzzer?
You know, I feel like I can say it because this is what they tell you to do, which is to ring it over and over and over again. And the reason for that is if you do it too early, you get locked out for like a quarter of a second or something. And so
okay.
if everybody's locked out, then you want to be the next, you know, then you want to make sure that you give yourself a chance. So they say hammer away at the buzzer. The hard part for me was just like what hand to hold it in, and should I, you know, some people look so cool when they're up there that's like behind their back, and it's like how are you getting to the buzzer? But I double-handed it. I kind of like steadied my right hand with my left hand and just tried my best to get it in there in time. But you know, there have been books written on it.
Yes.
One of the guys that was there was reading that book and you know, about like just about the buzzer, and I was like, maybe I made too many flashcards and I didn't read enough books about the buzzer. But yeah.
Well, I'll tell you right now, while you were explaining that, there were like, you know, at least the Jeopardy nerds that were listening were freaking out. Absolutely. I asked you about Katie Couric, and they're going to have Aaron Rodgers host. They're going to have Dr. Oz come on. Who would you like to see host Jeopardy?
Yeah, this one's an easy one for me. I don't know how I would have answered this before I went on, but Jimmy McGuire of the Clue crew, he's like one of the guys who pops up every now and then, and he's in, you know, Rome or Reykjavik, and he's given a clue. He's also I guess like a producer, contestant coordinator. I don't know what his title is, but he's there with you and all the kind of upcoming contestants. And I just think he's great. I mean, he's been with the show for like 15 years. I think if nothing else, I think it would be cool if he got a crack at hosting. And I think he does a great job. So that would be my vote, you know, for the time being at least, because I think he's put in his time and I think he should get a crack at it.
Jeez, Brendan, you went deep. I was thinking like Gronk. You know, like Rob, Rob Gronkowski,
I don't know that Gronk would do it. There's a lot of multitasking that was involved that I don't know that Gronk could handle.
He played professional football. He could multitask, or maybe Gary Busey, or or Paul Stanley from Kiss in full makeup with someone, because we were talking about this on the show last week. Like, who would you like to see host Jeopardy? Someone said Paul Stanley from Kiss, full makeup, and I said, yeah, you got to add some flames and some confetti cannons in there when he's on. That would be pretty awesome. But
yeah, I mean, the world's their oyster. There's a little bit of a movement for LeVar Burton to get on,
yes,
which I think would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
That'd probably be my second choice, because between him and Alex, the two of them were on my TV my entire childhood, so I think it would be cool for him to get a shot too.
Well, his experience with Reading Rainbow is awesome, but myself as a Trekkie, I would love to see LeVar Burton on Jeopardy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, of course, as Geordie wearing the visual thing. So it's on tonight. It's WBZ TV, 7:30 tonight. Brendan Sargent from Worcester, Mass. is going to represent. And I know you can't give it away, but best of luck. I hope it goes well. Are you having like a big party to watch the show, or as big as you can during COVID? Are you having like people over? What are you doing?
We have a little patio. My wife bought me for Christmas, bought a big projector screen.
Nice.
So we have some space outside. We're gonna have a couple friends over to watch it. And we have I don't know if you've ever watched The Office, but there's an episode of The Office where Michael has the girl he loves is gonna get engaged, and he has a happy box and a sad box for whether or not she gets engaged. So that's what we have tonight. We have a happy box that has champagne and party stuff, and then we have a sad box that has like Jim Beam. And,
there you go.
So
yeah.
So we'll have that at the ready, and yeah, it'll be fun to experience it with some friends. I would love to be in Worcester for it. Obviously, that's kind of a bummer.
All right. Well, Brendan Sargent, good luck representing Worcester, Mass. on Jeopardy tonight, 7:30 WBZ TV. Do it for Worcester.
I'll try my best, Mike. Thanks so much, man. This is great.